Good morning, everybody. It's Dana Brigman. This is about the time that I would say I'm not going to make a video because my hair is wet. But I'm going to try to get over all that and just really talk to you guys real life to real life. And so today, I have a great example of showing you a meal plan that has some gaps in it, some extremely common gaps in it. Unfortunately, one of the things that I often have to do with my clients is point out all the mistakes they're making. Excuse me. I try to do that with a lot of compassion and a lot of care because I know their intent is good. And in this case, this parent is really trying to feed her dog well. We met a few weeks ago for training lessons. We talked about the kibble they were feeding. We talked about home cooked or some of these pre-made raw base mixes like I use. And she decided to go the home cooked route, home prepared route, shall we say, because technically it's raw. But I think she missed the memo, maybe didn't read all the details, maybe the details didn't sink in, maybe just thought I'll try my best. And what happens is we wing it a lot of times and we make some very common mistakes. So I want to show you what she brought for her dog to stay with me for the week. We have little packs of hamburger, which will be his dinner. So this will go raw for him. We have a veggie medley, which she can rotate, right? We suggest rotating veggies around the seasons, but this particular one has spinach, zucchini, cauliflower, and quite a lot of carrot in there. So all great options. But she told me that she feeds this raw. I asked, are you steaming it? She said, no, just raw. We need to steam our veggies, right? Just a couple minutes so that we can chop them up. So this is not considered a fine chop. They are chopped, but it's not considered a fine chop. You really want to maybe run it through the food processor and break it down to help the body start the digestive process. So light steam, my grandma would call it blanching, and whir it through the food processor to break it down even further so that the body can actually digest this food. She brought me some cottage cheese. She brought some yogurt, probiotic. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And she brought some scrambled eggs for breakfast. So, what's missing from this diet? Quite a lot of things. If I feed this diet all the time without a lot of variety to it and without putting some additional, that's him, some additional pieces of the puzzle, then I'm going to have a diet that's really out of balance over the long haul. A diet that's out of balance for our dogs can create a lot of health issues and behavioral issues, right? We see it all the time. So, what's missing? Calcium, omega, probiotic, digestive enzymes, and probably a good joint inflammatory supplement because he is a little bit older. So let's talk about those things. Meat. Ground hamburger has no calcium in it, none. You might get a little bit of calcium out of some of the veggies that we feed, but we're not going to get enough. So where do we get calcium from? Most often, in a true raw diet, it comes from the bone that the meat is associated with. So we can feed raw meaty bones. Some of you are not comfortable doing that. And when we start adding raw meat, whether it's pork, turkey, chicken, which I don't advise, hamburger, other types of red meats. Even if we were in the categories of lamb and venison, we're not getting calcium. We have to either add the raw meaty bone that goes with it, or we have to supplement it through something like eggshell powder or a calcium supplement. So you can save your eggshells that you made with your scrambled eggs, cook them in the oven for a little bit and make this powder out of them. I'll share the recipe with that later. It's super easy. So you got to add calcium, because what we have with meat is the phosphorus component. It must have its offsetting or its counterpart of calcium, and the ratios have to be balanced. It's typically 1 part phosphorus to 1 to 1.2 parts calcium. So a little bit of eggshell powder solves that for this recipe. We're missing omega. If you were feeding a chicken diet, only chicken, you're getting a ton of omega-6, which is known to be pro-inflammatory. We don't want that, right? Chicken is also an extremely common allergen. Chicken is also in Chinese medicine considered to be a hot protein. So when I start working with dogs with allergies, aggression, anxiety, arousal, chicken is one of the first ingredients to go. So where do we get good omega? Fish. Feed your dog based on weight, sardines once a week. So Poppy, 50 pounds, gets a can of sardines once a week. She also gets other fish in her diet, but sardines is an easy way to do that omega. It's not supplement, but put the omega-3 in the diet. So we want to sort of reduce the amount of omega-6, and we want to bump up the omega-3 that we're getting in our diet. So fish sources, sardines only once a week will be beneficial to that. So probiotic, this was a post I made earlier in the week. This is not enough, right? So if I'm putting this in the dog's food bowl, what am I giving him? A little dollop, right? Maybe a teaspoon. He's a small dog. He might be 25 pounds. So he might get a tablespoon at max, a tablespoon, but that's not a lot of probiotic for our dog's digestive system. So we need to probably either add in fermented veggies or a good probiotic supplement. We can rotate and vary things around. Variety is a great thing to do, but we just got to make sure all the pieces and the parts are adequate in their amount to do what we think they're doing in the body. So in a yogurt kind of thing, we are getting a type of probiotic, right? When we look at a Life 9 probiotic, for example, I don't have it out here, but a supplement that I use for myself and dogs, it's got 9 strains of different probiotic sources and 17 billion cultures. So that's part of what we have to look for, is how many strains, what are those strains, and all the culture, and is that culture actually staying alive from the time we acquire it and get it into the gut. So that's an important thing. There are even probiotic types or strains that are targeted at certain ailments, shall we say. So for example, if your dog has leaky gut, there are a couple of probiotics you want to make sure are included in the probiotic sources that you're feeding. And it's probably not going to be in your yogurt. Dairy, not bad. Great protein source. I use it as a day off the red meat clock, so to speak, right? So my dogs get a dairy meal once a week, maybe twice on that day. And that's so that we give the digestive system time off the clock. The kidneys, the liver, the digestive system, they all have to handle that red meat. Great for our dogs, but if we can help the digestive system take a break, relax a little, and not have to work so hard, we are doing good things for our dog's gut health. So dairy's okay once a week. If your dog got some issues with dairy issues, then we'll look at other solutions. So what else is missing? Digestive enzymes. When our dogs have been fed kibble long term, and most of them have, mine were too. I mean, it's what I fed for a whole lot of years. basically what happens is the dog's body turns off its natural ability to digest whole, real foods. And so it takes a while for that gut health to sort of get back into balance and to get all of those things working. So when we are making a transition to whole, real foods from a kibble-based diet, we need to support the digestive system with digestive enzymes to help the body break down all of those things. Digestive enzymes are really beneficial in the pancreas to help break down fats, to help break down sugars. If you have a dog that you're worried about pancreatic issues, this is something we can talk about. We often worry and panic that it's all about the fats with pancreas issues. It's not. It can also be the high carbohydrate, highly sugar-laden diets. And what I see more often than not when I do the analysis with somebody is that their foods are 40% or more, lots of them 50% or more carbohydrates. So digestive enzymes are really beneficial to help your dog's gut do its job better without having to work quite as hard. Even for our aging pets, they may start to challenge, or to have challenge, shall I say, with the ability to extract nutrient out of the food that we're giving it, even when it is whole food. Because the aging process changes things, and the digestive system will struggle a bit more for some dogs as we age. True for you too, right? None of this is different for any of us. So a lot of times we will look to add additional digestive enzymes to even the best of raw diets as our pets age and as we perhaps see ailments start to present itself. Then the other thing, there's two more things. One is a joint supplement. I think all dogs need to be on a good joint supplement as soon as they hit maturity, right? Especially those giant breed dogs like Danes, Dobermans, German Shepherds, Golden Retrievers, these bigger dogs that are predisposed to hip and joint issues. Start young. Start supporting these systems of the body young. If we wait until they show us pain, we have waited until damage has started. Inflammation in the body can lead to a lot of problems. And so even if you just make I'm pointing at my refrigerator, which you can't see, but even if you make a recipe like golden paste, you can be adding some benefit to your dog's body. Now, if he's on medications, we want to check for any sort of counter type indications, contraindications. But for most dogs, adding golden paste to their diet is super affordable, super easy, other than the fact it'll stain everything yellow. Adds a lot of benefit to your dog's diet. And then in every homemade diet, in every kibble diet, if that's where you're going to stay, I want you to look at a good vitamin mineral supplement. This just happens to be a sample size of the Endurance that Volhard makes. It is an excellent source of whole food vitamin mineral supplementation. So this will fill in my gaps of any of the vitamins, mineral, amino acids. Think taurine, with some of our concerns with diets that have these new issues with links to, and that's a whole different discussion. It is not necessarily a direct indicator, but a link to what they're calling dietary associated dilated cardiomyopathy. I have a whole discussion on that on my blog site as well, and happy to talk to anybody about it because I lived through DCM with my own Great Dane many years ago. So when all this started, this became a really important topic for me to understand. So you've got options. Whole food is fantastic. And I would love to see all of you at least supplementing your whole foods periodically. So to give you some food for thought about those things, go to my website, caninecoach.dog/well-fed-canine, letter K number 9. So well-fed-K9. And there is a blog section, right? It's free. Just go look at it. But it talks a lot about things like, can I give my dogs eggs? How do I make eggshell powder? Is dairy okay? Is yogurt okay? There's a lot of stuff out there that will help you as you start trying to supplement your dog's kibble or start to transition them into whole, real food meals. If you have any questions, let me know. I see a couple of posts. Nope, that just says they're watching. So if you have questions about this, let me know. And if I can help you with your dog's diet, it's kind of what I love to do. So talk to you soon.